Finally, I made it out of the Inktober hole. As much fun as I had with Inktober, I'm glad it's done. I can now focus on some more guided videos aimed at my region, which I still haven't named or created anything else about, apart from it being centered around Beast Paradox stuff. But even today isn't the day for that. In the final Inktober video, the last prompt was for Farm, where I created Summerell and Ormtori, two guardians based on summer and autumn, or fall. They kind of less were about farm and more represented the protection of farmers' crops during those seasons and good harvests. Well, I really liked them and wanted to create the other two seasons, winter and spring. It's weird because Pokemon usually does these secondary legendaries in groups of 3 with extras being lumped on later, usually with some great results. Except for you! Get out! Out! But I can't do that here. We have 4 seasons, and although I'd love to get rid of the hot summer, I can't do that to Summerell. If you had to forcibly remove a season from this plane of reality, what would you do, oh great omnipotent one commenting right now? Before we move on to the new 2, here are some detailed looks at Summerell and Ormtori. These guys kind of helped me solidify what I wanted in the other 2. I wanted to keep the face markings similar as sort of a theme between them all, and the darker parts on their hands and feet. Makes them look fancy but not too fancy. I didn't want some super complex legendaries, but one that you'd see and feel at ease, that they were there. Unlike something like Kyurem or Yveltal, who I'd definitely run as far away as possible. Anyway, let's get started on the meat of the video. Alright, time for Wintravel. I knew I wanted a Yeti sort of creature. My keywords were fluffy, friendly, and frosty. I quickly had the idea for a big fluffy bear lion, kind of a guy who looked like he was lazily trudging through harsh snow with his arm up in the air so he could see. In the other 2 I did so far, I added these sticky outy bits to break the silhouette a bit, and I found that this made Wintravel look really nice. It helps make him look like his fur is a bit more of a grass bush covered in snow, rather than full fur or just snow. Surprisingly, his design just clicked. It was perfect amounts cute and believability as a Pokemon. Wintravel's colour scheme was also pretty easy, monochromatic blues with some yellow hidden in the eyes to give the focal point. I had some big teeth to show the more Yeti aspect, but I don't know if I like them now, the more I look at it. Comment down below if you like it better with or without the teeths. Wintravel, the winter Pokemon, a grass and ice type. One of the protectors of the season, Wintravel visits every winter, travelling the region giving the people of the region good fortune for the coming season. Known as the Jolly Snowbringer, Wintravel brings festivals and fun to people of the region. Wintravel love to have snowball fights with kids. Many see Wintravel as a curse to their crops, but Wintravel is incredibly kind and brings protection to harvest to survive the winter. When winter ends, Wintravel retreats to an unknown place to rest and gain energy for the next winter. Oh, this next one was hard. I like the idea of a slender kind of foil to Summerell. This was the original Sprint Sage, kind of a mix of a deer, gazelle, bison hybrid. It wasn't terrible, but it also felt too alien compared to the others. So I decided to make it larger, more stocky like Terrakion, a proper bison who, despite its look, was a caring creature that'd charge into spring, creating life. You can even see in the sketch I was still unsure, and I think that was more I had too static a pose to this one. The first draft of it was okay, but it didn't vibe with me exactly. So I set out on doing a second version, no real change in its design apart from some proportion changes, more of a pose change, it doing like a bit of a rearing or charge headbutt. I gave the flowers a bit of generalizing too, as the first version they felt too blobby in some places. I felt the colours fit well for a fairy type for spring, nice pink and white. I think it turned out much better in the second pass. Spring Sage, the spring Pokemon, a grass and fairy type. One of the protectors of the seasons, Spring Sage visits every spring, travelling the region, giving the people of the region good fortune for the coming season. Spring Sage charges through the region, causing flowers to rapidly bloom. It is so careful in its charges that not a single flower is trodden on or tree knocked over. Seeing wilted crops causes great sadness in Spring Sage. It seems to take this quite personally. When spring ends, Spring Sage retreats to an unknown place to rest and gain energy for the next spring. And we ain't done yet! This is going to be a weird addition, but I like the idea of a Pokemon that was sort of the messenger going to each of our heralds, to awaken them for the next season. No real symbolism for them apart from Herald, but let's talk about its first form. This would be a regular Pokemon you'd probably find at Autumn Tori's shrine. It's a pretty basic Pokemon, not high stats or anything like that, but if you took one to each of the shrines, it would evolve into a legendary tier Pokemon instead. I knew what I wanted here, a Kitsune sort of Pokemon that would have a spirit inhabiting its tail, a pure ghost type cutie that screams spirituality and a good connection to Autumn Tori. I gave it that classic closed-eye grin that is very popular with Kitsune, and I think combining the ears kind of gave it some extra charm to it. For colours, it differs slightly from its Evo, more purples and whites, kind of a royal vibe to it to show people it is a special Pokemon. I did do a second pass to clean it up and give it a bit of extra style. Kit Spirit, the Symbiosis Pokemon, a ghost type. When a spirit passes on, some attach to a newborn Kit Spirit and a lifelong journey begins. Kit Spirit love to travel, and in the region they are found seem to travel in very specific paths to different shrines. It is said that the larger the tail a Kit Spirit has, the more content the spirit that has bound itself to Kit Spirit is, and the Kit Spirit's life will be long and prosperous. A Kit Spirit that makes this journey to all 4 of the shrines are rewarded with the gift of evolution, to become one of the heralds of the 4 season guardians. So Kit Spirit evolves and it becomes this herald. I wanted it to be regal and obviously still fox-shaped, but I wanted it to look streamlined. His tail now more nine-tailed fox, but not aping too hard on Ninetales. I gave it this almost scarf-like neck piece that connects to the face, and I can just imagine it running and the tails and neck piece flowing in the wind. The colours were finicky, I didn't like the blue too much. It felt weird, but adding the golden fur helped make it seem a bit more like a herald. changed up its proportions a bit to make sure it didn't look too long and wonky. I wanted the tails to feel large and not be overtaken by too much body. Karasune, the Herald Pokemon, a ghost type. When a Kit Spirit visits all 4 seasonal shrines, it evolves into Karasune. With the Spirit and the Karasune in perfect harmony, this Pokemon gains phenomenal power. It tirelessly moves between the 4 hidden shrines, awakening the bringers of the seasons. It is said that Karasune can leap into the ground to create short-range portals to travel even faster. Some people of the region follow Karasune around and collect their fur to fashion into charms and wards to protect people from the harshest times during the seasons. So you'd get yourself a Kit Spirit, take it to the 4 shrines, and it would evolve into Karasune. I'd say that in game, once you evolved it, that's when the 4 Guardians would become available to catch as wandering legendaries, during respective seasons, or maybe just certain weather events. Days like Sword and Shield. I really like all of these guys. Which one is your favourite from the Season Guardians, or is it Kit Spirit or Karasune? I think for my next video, we're going to dive into designing some Pokemon in relation to a gym leader, maybe a steel type gym leader? This might be a challenge with designing Pokemon humans. Well, wish me luck and I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment and subscribe and do all those good stuffs, and follow me on Twitter where I get too excited about upcoming Pokemon releases. Till next time!